scripture for this morning is taken from a couple verses right after what my wife read, chapter 25, first 13 verses. And you'll recognize this as the parable of the 10 virgins. This is the New International Version right here. And it says, at that time the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps, but didn't take any oil with them. The wise ones, however, took oil in jars along with their lamps. The bridegroom was a long time in coming, and they all became drowsy and fell asleep. At midnight the cry rang out, "Here is the bridegroom, come out to meet him." Then all the virgins woke up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish one said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, our lamps are going out." "No," they replied, "there may not be enough for both of us. Instead, go to those who sell oil and buy some yourselves." But while they were on their way to buy the oil, the bridegroom arrived. The virgins who were ready went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later the others also came. "Lord," they said, "open the door for us." But he replied, "Truly I tell you, I don't know you. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour." As we celebrate Advent, the time of preparing, the time of heading into the Christmas season, the day of birth, we look at some of the things that we need to be prepared for, and being prepared and how important that is. In April 1988, there was a photographer who was on tour to film some skydivers. He was also a professional skydiver himself, so he went up in the aircraft with them, got his camera ready, got prepared, and as they jumped out, he went first and went backwards, and he's watching them all come out behind him. He's filming them as they come out the door of the airplane, and one by one they pull their rip cords and the parachutes come out, and he goes further away from them, and at the very end of the video, there's just a scrambled panic as he realizes he forgot his own parachute, and he fell to his death. Doesn't matter how many times he'd done it before. Doesn't matter how prepared he was every other time. By forgetting the parachute, he made a foolish and deadly mistake. Nothing could save him. I don't know if he tried to aim toward water, aim toward the bale of hay or whatever. Nothing saved him. His faith in a parachute didn't matter because he didn't even put the buckle on. And it's kind of like what Jesus is saying here in the parable of the 10 virgins. Some were prepared and some weren't. They were going to meet someone very important. They were going to meet someone that was necessary for them to get in the door. But they weren't ready. They weren't prepared. They thought they had enough oil. They thought, this is good enough. And how many Christians think, you know what, this is good enough? I'll show up on Sunday. That's good enough. Yeah, I'll do this. That's good enough. I'll throw a couple bucks in. That's good enough. But you know what? Is it good enough? Are you prepared? There are a couple facts that we can look from the scripture verse, the parable of the 10 virgins. And the first fact is, you must be spiritually ready. You must be spiritually ready. There's one thing that Jesus consistently told us in the Bible. He says that we need to be ready. You heard it at the fig tree that my wife read. You hear it right here with the parable of the 10 virgins. You need to be ready. Matthew 24:44, just a few verses back. So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour that you do not expect him. We don't know when he's coming. We know that he's probably not coming December 21st. No matter what the Mayans say, no matter what the calendar does, even though it ends, because no man knows the hour, no man knows the day. So that pretty much takes that one already off the block. Probably one of the most frustrating aspects of ministry in our society today is we live in a culture that accepts spirituality. Over 80% of the people proclaim to be Christians. We hear that about Dana. He says he's a Christian, but you don't see it a lot. A lot of people think being a Christian means just believing in the higher power, believing in something outside of yourself. Even the scientists say, you know what, there may be something out there. You know what, there probably is. But believing that there may be something more out there is not the same as accepting Jesus Christ into your heart. Trusting that there's something there isn't the same as trusting in here. So the question is, what does it mean to be ready? What does it mean to be ready? To have the oil to make it to the end. To have the gumption to get there. To be able to make it through the tough times. Because that's what really it's talking about here. You know, they were kind of going through a smooth period. They relaxed. They let their guard down. They blew out the oil or blew out the wick or whatever and rested. And when it came time, they trimmed their lights, but some just didn't have enough. They let it go too long. Sometimes we let it go too long. I know friends of mine who are no longer in this world that I think, because I'm not there on that side yet, but I think they let it go too long. I don't know if you can be saved in 60 feet of skid marks before you hit a man. If you have just enough time to yell out, you probably do. But I don't know if you did. I don't know. I know that he wasn't ready before that skid mark started. I don't know where he went after it. We have to be careful. We know that all bridegrooms, you know, the bridegrooms can sometimes look alike. We can hear this. Well, maybe that's what they're talking about. We can hear this. Well, maybe that's what they mean. And that's what the Jewish people were going with. How many messiahs have we had? A bunch of false ones. And Jesus says there's going to be more. There's going to be more false teachers. There's going to be more things that look like it could be right. It could sound good. It could be what you want to hear. And there's some preachers out there that tell us a lot of great things that we want to hear, but not necessarily what we should hear. We can't spend all the time on the fluffy bunny stuff. We can't spend all the time on you know, if you pray to God, He'll bless you, and the prayer of Jabez kind of thing. Those are good. There's nothing wrong with that. But we also need to be reminded that there's still a heaven and hell waiting at the end of the trip. You're going to either hear well done, my good and faithful servant, or there's going to be a lot of disappointment at the end. We need to be spiritually ready. And apparently, the kids are being locked down, so it's good. The great news is that we can be ready today. You know what? It doesn't take a lot of getting ready. It doesn't take a lot of extra pulling things together. We can just get ready. We can just turn that last bit over. I really liked how you said that, Phoebe, about the metal. And I've seen that before. You know, a lot of illustrations will show when you melt that metal down, you get that black layer on top, that dross that they skim off to make it pure. And that's just what they're talking about right there. You may be melted down, but you got to make sure that dross gets to the surface and skimmed off so that you can be prepared. As a parent, you need to model that for your children. And as a child, you need to model that for your parents. Works both ways. And the truth is, no one can do it for you. That's the second fact that comes out of this. No one can do it for you. The other 5 virgins, I guess, could have all shared their oil, and then all 10 of them would have been in trouble. You know, the toughest thing, I think, for me as a parent, and I'm sure that I'm not alone in this, is the fact that I can't save my children. And I know, Carol, that's something that's probably at the top of your mind from what we talked about the last couple of weeks. We can't save our children. We can't make the decisions I can make my daughter's decisions for me now, for her now, for the most part. She doesn't always like them, and even now doesn't always follow them, my son, as a little older, it's getting a little tougher, and as the years come and go, the decisions that we make for them don't always last, and they start going their own way. We can't do it for them. I give my life for my children. I give my life for my wife. I give my life for my parents. It doesn't do me any good. I can't get them into heaven by me dying for them. They have to get it there themselves. They have to get there themselves. Third fact is, there is a time called too late. The good news is that right now, it's not too late. But that's right now. Right now we have a roof over our heads. Right now the electricity's on. Right now the sun is kind of shining, not too well, but a little bit. But that's right now. That's not even 10 seconds from now. That's not even 10 minutes from now. That's not 10 hours, 10 days, 10 weeks, 10 months, 10 years. There will be a time where it's up. There will be a time when the horn blows. There will be a time when all of a sudden the whole world will come to a stop as that one note peals out there, and time will be up. I remember in college taking tests. I don't remember it as much in high school. I don't remember the stress in high school as much as college. But in tests, when they would time you, and if I didn't have my watch, or if I didn't look up at the clock, and I was struggling to get the last couple of answers in there, time's up, drop your pencil. I had 2 more to go. And that's what I think of when I talk about being too late. Because there's going to be a time when they're going to tell you time's up, drop your pencil. And if you're done, you're done. If you're ready, you're ready. But if you're not, you're just not. In Matthew 25, verse 6, at midnight the cry rang out, here's the bridegroom, come out to meet him. We're going to have that opportunity one of these days. Midnight is symbolic of the fact that there's going to be a time when it is too late to get your life in order. When Jesus splits the eastern sky, the trumpet sounds, time as we know it will be no more. There will be no more procrastination. That was good, that. It's going to happen. So what do we do? Well, the good news is that there are quite a bit in here that I think we're ready. I hope you are. I'm not the biggest discerner of right, wrong, left, and right, but I know hearts pretty well, and I think that most of us are good. I hope we're all ready when the time comes. I hope we are. But I've also found out that I used to be able to fool others pretty good. Hopefully no one in here is trying to fool anybody. You're just the way you are. And that you are ready to go when that bell blows and the whistle is out there and the sky splits open and they call us up. I'd like to see you all there. So the question is, are you ready? We're celebrating Advent, the time of coming. 2 weeks till Christmas, 2 weeks till we celebrate. And if you're not in the right spirit, if you're not in the right frame, if you're not in the right position with Jesus, this is the time to do it as we head towards Christmas. Let's go before the Lord in prayer.